You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy. So? What'll I make you? Good?
Caught on a Ring camera, watch as two suspects creep up, firing at a family as they were saying their goodbyes in the driveway of their West Jackson home.
I mean, he was outside on the, outside of the car. I'm so sorry. Anyways, and I threw my hands up. I'm like, hey, 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 hey. And he just pulled me down.
Heather Allen and her son were outside the car, but inside was her oldest son, daughter, and two grandchildren.
They kept hollering, like, give me the keys, get out. My daughter was like, my babies are in the car.
Then you can see one of the suspects pulling Allen's daughter out of the car.
He jumps in the driver's seat. I'm standing on the outside looking in, and he points a gun in my oldest boy's face.
Her son gets out, and that's when Allen braves it to grab her grandchildren from the back seat.
Like my oldest granddaughter that's in the back seat, she's looking at me saying, Mimi, like, help me, like, get me. I'm scared.
The whole time, one of the suspects was still yelling for the keys. When they couldn't figure out how to take that car, Allen threw her keys on the ground. And you can see here, they soon after take off in Allen's car that was parked in the lawn. JPD found her car only 2 streets down about 40 minutes after the armed carjacking took place.
That breaking news alert comes to us from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. We understand that Sheriff T.K. Waters is about to bring us up to date on the developments of a major investigation. We are hearing that the investigation may be surrounding the case of a 7-year-old who was shot to death late in January, the Brianna Allen case. If you're not familiar with that case, she is a 7-year-old who was tragically caught in the crossfire of a gang-related shooting. So when last we heard, I believe it was back on March 12th, when right here on the Noon News, Sheriff T.K. Waters told us about the arrest of 4 people in connection with that shooting. And if I remember correctly, the sheriff told us that was not the last of the arrests we expected to hear. Sheriff Waters now at the dais.
So good afternoon.
Let's hear what he has to say.
Being here once again. Today I'm joined by members of JSO's homicide unit to update the public on the investigation of the murder of 7-year-old Breon Allen Jr. 2 weeks ago, we announced the arrest of 4 young men pertaining to this case, and I shared that more arrests were anticipated. This morning, Dante McGee and Tavares Kelly were arrested for murder, attempted murder, and conspiracy to commit murder pertaining to the January 24th shooting that tragically ended the young life of Breon Allen Jr.
Greetings from the east to north to south, and this wicked ass west. The topic: you need people like me. The questions: why you think it's easy for them to show the worst of us? Let's get into it. I am your host. I am the one.
Okay, when you mistreat a race of people, you must have some form of justification of why you do what you do. Number one, when you enslave a group of people for 400 years, total mistreatment, from birth to death, 100% pure hell for the slaves. Now, if you are the slave owner, you must be able to justify in some way why you do what you do. So you get the worst of the worst, and then you parade them on Front Street. You parade them on Front Street to let the world know why you mistreat these people. In other words, for young black males, you show the worst of the worst. In this way, your police force can brutally manhandle, mistreat, and eventually take the lives of a lot of black males and females. And then in the majority of the population, when you go before them with your propaganda media, you can justify what you have done. You will say, look at him. He's the bad guy. He is the bad guy, as Dude said in the movie. So all of the dealings that you do and the mistreatment that you do all around the world, what did that make you? Good? Dude said, no, you're not good. You just know how to hide. You know how to use your media to justify everything that you do. You have killed in the hundreds of thousands, war after war after war. America has supplied weapons to Israel in the genocide of hundreds of thousands of people, misplacing 2 million people. But somehow that's okay. But you show the worst of the black male and the black female to justify all the things that you do to us. Under no circumstances will I justify what these terrible young individuals has done. When you take the life of a 7-year-old, there's no justification. When you take the life of a 15, 16-year-old, there's no justification. Under no circumstances will I ever justify anything like that, because one day I must face the Most High God. So no, I will never justify crimes against my own people. No, I can't justify that, whether my people did it or not. They deserve to be locked up. And one thing I can guarantee you in this country, they will go to jail. That's a fact. I need to bring him out today because I can guarantee you he's here. Wait a minute. Hold on for 1 minute. This guy right here. This guy right here will make sure that what those young black males has done, they will go to jail. They will be caught. There's no question about it. We live in 2025. We got cameras all over the place. You can offer rewards. They will get caught. They will go to jail for at least a decade. There's no doubt about it. But I want to get back to the justification of the things, the evil things that this guy does all around the world. But he know how to hide. So he'll parade this color on the news every single night. He'll point his finger. He'll say, look, that's the bad guy. Again, so what did that make you? Good? Nah. You just know how to hide. Let me go to the next clip. Let me show you the things that they have done and they justify. I'll be back.
You and I run a hospital. We got 200 beds. If there's empty beds, you and I are not making money. So we need sick people to come to the hospital to make money. That's how we make money. If you and I own a hotel, we got 500 rooms. Guess what? If our rooms are empty, we don't make any money. We need people to come and stay in our hotel so we can make money, right? Now imagine a business model where you needed more wars for you to make more money. Let me say that one more time. Imagine an industry you're a part of that you need more wars, potentially people dying, for you to make more money. That's like the Department of Defense. That's defense contractors. The more wars, the more money. You know?
Operation Northwoods was something that was plotted out during the 1960s, signed by the Joint Chiefs of Staff, where they were going to fake terrorist attacks on American civilians and blame it on the Cubans so we could go to war with Cuba. It involved a bunch of shit like blowing up a jetliner. They were going to have a drone jetliner and blow it up and say that people died on it. And this was going to get everybody fired up about going to war with Cuba. They were even going to attack Guantanamo Bay. They were going to arm Cuban friendlies to attack Guantanamo Bay so that we would have to go to war with Cuba. This is like our own government. They plotted this out. This is like real shit. I remember when I saw JFK, the Oliver Stone movie, and that was like part of the premise that JFK, that Oliver Stone was pushing in this film, is that they killed JFK because they wanted to stay in Vietnam because they were making a lot of money in Vietnam. And I remember at the time seeing that movie going, that is absolutely ridiculous. Who the fuck believes that? Are they going to start wars and keep wars going just so that they can make money, even though it's not a real war, it's not a just war? Nobody wants to go to war. That's stupid hippie bullshit. Well, as I got older and I started investigating history, in human history, where it's clear that the United States is, you know, we're fucking around with all kinds of things all the time to make money. And that there's a bunch of people that are profiting off of war. And then they're not just profiting like a little bit of money here and there. You look at like what's going on with like how much money Halliburton made from the war. We're talking like billions and billions of dollars. That's like real money.
You know, any common person with any compassion, when one or two people are murdered or are hurt in any type of way, when they lose their life, we think it's terrible, because it is terrible. So when we see the headline news and we see somebody lose their life, 1, 2, maybe 3 people, we think that's the worst person on the planet who ever have done that, rather black or white or any nationality. But one man, he profit off of war. War is a business for him. The more people that he take their life, the more money he made. How sick is that? Realistically, how sick is that? But somehow when we go to Iran and totally destroy their country, that's fine. When that nasty Hillary Clinton destroyed Libya, that's okay. So they come with a propaganda story about Muammar Gaddafi and how he is mistreating his people, which was just a flat out lie. Weapons of mass destruction never found. In the thousands, maybe the hundreds of thousands of people that lost their life. And somehow here in America, we don't see that as a major big deal. But if a person is loses life in a grocery store and they flash that black face, we'll look at that black face, we'll say, what an animal. And of course, I 100% agree, what an animal. But when we kill tens of hundreds of thousands of people, we'll think to ourselves, well, it's not over here, no big deal. What a sick society we live in. Our mindset is not right. We were trained in a way that we are desensitized to anybody losing their lives apart from us. Let's go to the next clip.
Colonel Wilkerson helped Secretary of State Powell prepare his infamous February 5, 2003 speech before the United Nations Security Council, where Powell falsely claimed Iraq was hiding weapons of mass destruction. Wilkerson and Powell would later say the CIA lied to them. I talked to Colonel Wilkerson last week and asked him about the parallels between the escalation between the U.S. and Iran today and the 2003 run-up to war with Iraq.
Ever since 9/11, the beast of the national security state, the beast of endless wars, the beast of the alligator that came out of the swamp, for example, and bit Donald Trump just a few days ago, is alive and well. America exists today to make war. How else do we interpret 19 straight years of war and no end in sight? It's part of who we are. It's part of what the American empire is. We are going to lie, cheat, and steal, as Pompeo is doing right now, as Trump is doing right now, as Esper is doing right now, as Lindsey Graham is doing right now, as Tom Cotton is doing right now, and a host of other members of my political party, the Republicans, are doing right now. We're going to cheat and steal to do whatever it is we have to do to continue this war complex. That's the truth of it, and that's the agony of it. What we saw President Trump do was not in President Trump's character, really. Those boys and girls who were getting on those planes at Fort Bragg to augment forces in Iraq, if you look at their faces, and even more importantly, if you look at the faces of the families assembled along the line that they were traversing to get onto the airplanes, you saw a lot of Donald Trump's base. That base voted for Donald Trump because he promised to end these endless wars. He promised to drain the swamp. Well, as I said, an alligator from that swamp jumped out and bit him. And when he ordered the killing of Qasem Soleimani, he was a member of the national security state in good standing. And all that state knows how to do is make war.
You know, it amazes me that we have to ask ourselves, what is law? Because when certain people decide to take lives, it's not considered killing. It's not considered murder. No, when they decide to kill somebody, it's what they decide it is. Well, we killed X amount of people in this war because somebody on this end of the earth, on this side of the world, decide, yes, this country must go. These leaders must go. So they give orders to soldiers to go get rid of this whole group of people. And I'm assuming that's considered, it's okay. So this man has put himself, he put himself in the place of God. So when ordinary people take lives, that is considered murder. When he give the order to take lives, that's okay. When he villainize people and put them on the 6 o'clock news, and he'll make statements that, look at those animals. But when he do the same thing, it's considered okay. Now, if we really look at the numbers, generally when somebody have their lives taken in this country, as horrible and horrific as it is, it's mainly 1 person, 2 person, 3 people. You know, generally it's like that. But this man, when he give the order, he kills in the thousands, the hundreds of thousands. And I'm assuming that's okay. So he point his finger and he'll say, that's the bad guy right there. That's the bad guy. I'm assuming what he does make him good? I don't think so. He just knows how to hide. Thank you for watching. I am your host. I am the one.